Your voice matters so much in all of this. We've been getting hit hard lately, ain't we?
Amen.
Yeah. On all fronts. But thank you for all coming together and unify today. We're gonna have John, who's with the John Sunday Society, go ahead and open us up.
Sure.
Come on.
Y'all comfortable standing out on the street?
Yes.
Y'all need to stand up here?
Yeah.
Haley did a very good job.
Uh-huh.
I feel like maybe I should have started off and then Haley came out here. So we're here for many different reasons. I mean, certainly with what's happened over the past week, I mean, it's been more than a week, really. I think back to when I was 18 years old in Pensacola, and I heard about a young man named Victor Steen. And it blew my mind that something like that could happen in my city. And I see similarities to what's happening now. And unfortunately, it's similar circumstances, and it just keeps happening, So I think more than anything, what brings us here together is we want to see change. We want to see something different from our communities. So I got tied into John Sunday. I'm in real estate, and I come across this property for sale, and lo and behold, it's this figure in Pensacola that potentially is one of the wealthiest African American men in the country during his time, and to think that he lived here in Pensacola was just something that I couldn't let go, and so here we are. The property's under contract. The city has issued a demo permit.
You all right?
You all right?
Sorry.
That's the example, though. We're going to fall down. We just need to get up and keep running. So anyway, that's what brought me here, was the story of John Sunday. We have all these figures in Pensacola that we recognize, and yet, I heard about John Sunday through people like Robin Richard. I didn't learn about John Sunday in school. It was a story that someone told me, so I feel like as a community we need to focus on stories like these. A man who was born enslaved would gain his freedom and would become, one of the wealthiest men in the Southeast, if not the country. That's incredible. That's inspiring, even for me, Caucasian male. I can find inspiration in that. I don't know. I think as a community, if we start recognizing these things, we'll be better off. We'll be stronger, more resilient as a people. Not running for political office or anything. It's just, it's what's brought me here. And I feel like to see this, this is a beautiful thing for Pensacola. We need more of this. So I'm glad that y'all can be here. And I don't know who we have next, but if you want to get up here and share why you're here, don't be afraid. I mean, I think it's important that we share, what's brought us here. Scott.
We have Quincy Hall here. Quincy Hall?
Nope.
No Quincy?
The
Well,
hat.
Robin, can you come say something?
Yeah, I thought it was.
It is amazing to see you, to see everyone here. But I want to preach to the choir.
Okay.
John Sunday died in 1925, and I've seen the Black Lives Matter movement and the we call these armbands. So my question to you, choir, is what are you going to do for the millions of African American men that are still alive? African American men and people in general do not deserve to die for you to make them matter. So often we come together and we love each other and hug, and then we go back to our segregated homes and our lives after that. So my question is regardless of where this, if this house stands or not, it's what are you gonna do to make John Sunday live? Keisha said, it's too bad that this history is gone, and this history is not gone. This history lives in each one of us. There's an old saying that Jesus is in your blood, may be in your blood, but Grandpa's in your DNA. And too many of us still have the old ways, not the heritage and the history, but the old ways where we want to hold on to the divisiveness that if we think that if we hold somebody down, we'll rise up. And that's not what John Sunday was about. So as John Sunday is dead and gone and has made this amazing legacy live, and again, regardless of whether this house stands or goes, it's what legacy are you going to give to the black person that you pass? Instead of describing their skin color, do like you do your white brothers and sisters and describe them by their hair color. I promise you I have brunette hair. And my skin color is no accident. I wasn't left in the oven too long, and that's just the top of what you see of me. So John Sunday is calling us together to get to know each other better. Not to believe in bricks and stones. This is not about bricks and stones. This is about your bones and your DNA. And if Grandpa still lives in your DNA, then I say you should go the way of John Sunday and die. Because you do not deserve to live if you think that your brother or sister is any less than you because of the color of your skin. So black lives do matter, and all lives matter, regardless of how many commas you have in your salary, and regardless of your hair color, regardless of where you live. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have blood and you have another chance. But if we don't take John Sunday's legacy, this will all be for naught. You'll go home, you'll get a good night's sleep, and you'll tell your children, I was there. And they'll ask you why, and you won't be able to tell them about John Sunday because you won't be able to tell them about yourself. John Sunday is in each of us, and I challenge you to remember that he died in 1925 so that we could live today. Thanks.
Was there anybody else that wanted to have any words, period? Come on.
Hello, everybody. Hello. My name is Joseph Jackson. I'm a native of the city of Pensacola, Florida. I love this city to death. I look for the best in it. But with the recent incidents that happened in America, I've always been aware of these issues. But with this happening, it's come to a point where I'm fed up with the continuous killing of our brothers. Me being a black brother as I am, I'm trying to set an example for the young ones. But if I'm murdered and killed in cold blood, I will not get a chance to give my story, to give my testimonials to the young ones that are growing up right now. All of this plays a true emotion into the young ones that are around us in the educational system. It's more than a struggle that we deal with police brutality. It's more than that. Everything under economics, we struggle as a people. But today, with the people that have came out to support, I appreciate every single one of y'all because it shows that y'all truly want to make a change. A few of my colleagues, we stand right here. We all represent the University of West Florida. We are coming up on making changes in the community today. There's no more time for waiting. There's no more time for tomorrow. Let's wait till the next incident. It's time to make a change now. It's an exciting time, even though it's a lot of depression going on. We're all excited, truthfully, on what is about to happen because we are the ones that can make the dramatic change in someone's life today. We have to look as visionaries, not of what's happening right now in the present. We have to look into the future. So somebody else's life will be affected in a way that they will be treated equally and like another human being. I'm so happy that we have people that are willing to take their time out their day to come down here and stand up for what they know is right. We all know right from wrong. I don't need to see a video to tell me to justify something. I know something from what is right or wrong. And being a believer in God, I believe God is on our side. He always will be. Regardless of whatever the devil might try to do, he will always be on our side. I'm excited, and I hope we all stay aware and awake of what's going on, and we continue to fight. Thank you.
Honor.
I'm an introvert, so this kind of bothers me. Got another one over there, I think. But I shared what I was told was a gift to a Pike community that meant a lot to me. And soul means a lot to me, so I'm going to share a little bit of my soul as a gift. I hope it's taken to heart, not necessarily what the song just says, but what are you going to do to instigate it. Was born by the river, little tent, and oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change gonna come.
Go ahead, brother.
Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I am afraid to die.
Amen.
'Cause I don't know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been times that I thought I wouldn't last long. Somehow I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. And then I go to my mother. I said, Mother, help me, please. Help me, please. She said, I'd like to. I really would, but I'm just not able. And then I looked around till I was right back down on my knees. Oh, there's been times that I thought I wouldn't last so long. Somehow I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
I heard that some of you from Alpha Phi Alpha are here on behalf of the University of West Florida, and I am too, although not officially. And I guess that I thought it was really important to come out tonight because I think that there is a change coming. I see it with people's ability just on their Facebook feed to watch other Americans being murdered. And I guess that I see among my colleagues and my friends more distress than I've ever seen before because there's so much awareness of the problem. I call as much as anything on my fellow white Americans to help solve this because I think that racism has gone on as long as it has because we've allowed it to go on. I think the cell phones are new, but the violence against minorities isn't new. True. And I think what is new is that we can't really deny it at this point. I saw a Facebook video this weekend of a woman who stood up in front of a group of white people at a dinner saying, okay, I want any of you who would volunteer to become black and be treated as a black person in America to stand up. And nobody stood up, of course. And then she said, okay, I don't think you understood the question. It's a pretty simple question. Stand up if you would volunteer to be treated as black people are treated in America. And still nobody stood up. And she said, okay, the challenge is on you at this point. Clearly you know what's going on, and it's up to you to try to do something to stop it. And so I challenge all of you to go back to your friends, to your neighborhoods, and really don't let people forget what's going on. Because I think that when people see in front of them, for the first time, I'm seeing some of my friends on Facebook post things that said, Jesus didn't talk about how all lives mattered. He talked about how Samaritan lives mattered. He didn't talk about how all lives mattered. He talked about how women's life mattered, and it went along. And I think that it's really a signal of a change to see some of my friends posting things like that. I'm from Escambia County too. I grew up here. I went to Pensacola High School, and I think really that we're much better than this. We're better than this. The people that I know are kind. The people that I know want to do the right thing. And I think the more visible we can make the wrong thing, the more embarrassed people are going to be to continue to do the wrong thing. And so what I say, I've been wearing my wristband for about a week now since a friend brought it back to me, and I can see people looking at it and I can see people noticing. And so what I would say to those of you who are white tonight is that you're in a privileged position, and with that privilege comes the responsibility to continue to keep these issues before the attention of your friends. So thank you very much. Go home and stand on the side of love. Stand on the side of love.
Miss Pearl, will you come say some words?
Yeah, I think I might need to stand up here. Shortest thing in the crowd. I hope I don't tear up, but I've been driving down here for the last 40 years. My grandmother would say, go down there and check on Pap's house, and I'm going like, who is Paps? You know, and she was talking about her grandfather. John Sunday. I'm going to make it personal because it's not just 302 West Romana. That's my DNA. I'm the 8th generation of John Sunday. Direct descendant. Been here in Escambia County 234 years. I have the certificate that his family 234 years, and you are going to tear down his legacy, his history. My son is the 9th generation who is also here. It's personal to me because, you know, I don't care how much money you have, you still make a sacrifice. This house has, hopefully, I think, if I counted correctly, 8 bedrooms. That's because he had 10 children. John Sunday had 10 children, didn't ask the Scammon County, no one for anything. He pulled himself up by his bootstrap. At 16 years old, went and got his apprenticeship from a gentleman named Ambrose Vons. And when he finished his apprenticeship, Ambrose Vons, of which I've shared this with a lot of people here in Pensacola, in the document, they made sure it was outlined when he finished, because he was the only black that was there, don't give him his money that he's due because he successfully completed the requirements. Instead of giving him $50, give him $25. And make sure, make no exception, do not teach him how to read, write, or do arithmetic. But John Sunday went on by pulling himself up by his bootstrap and ended up buying Ambrose Vons' whole estate when he passed away. He had 10 children. There's about 3 or 4 that died prematurely. But from that devastation of losing siblings, he had 3 children that went on to go to medical school. That became doctors, 1 teacher, 2 landscapers, developers who probably helped build this house. And from that lineage, where my grandfather, and we are still here, not asking anybody to do anything but to save this house. It's personal to me. It's a personal thing. So, I mean, we could remember John Sunday through our own personal legacy and do something. We can start developing through our John Sunday Society scholarships and things of this nature. But on the same token, John Sunday didn't divide Pensacola. Even though they was against him, John Sunday helped everybody he could. And I remember once Robin said, well, how do you think John Sunday helped people? He gave a hand up. He didn't put nobody down. And how did this house get here is simply because his sister, Mercedes Sunday, Mercedes Sunday Ruby, went and begged him, brother, let me have not this land, but the land where St. Joseph Catholic Church is. That's where this house is originally supposed to have been. She begged him for the land, and he gave her the land to build that church. He was a Christian man, he was a Catholic man, because it's documented that at St. Joseph Catholic Church, they was told, hey, we just want you to come to church and give your offering. You can't participate in anything here at St. Michael's. So he and his sister went to Molino with his brother, Harrison, and got permission from the diocese and the bishop to build St. Joseph Catholic Church. Because he always said, don't worry about it, I got more land. I'll build on that. And that's exactly what he did. And my grandmother gave the history about how he started this house by laying the foundation. And the foundation of this house set exactly 1 year before he put the first piece of timber or anything on it. And one of the reasons why at the time when the house was being set afire by terrorism, back in the 30s and 20s, because John Sunday, my grandmother said, he soaked every piece of timber, every piece of wood in kerosene. So when it really got ready to ignite, it wouldn't do nothing but smoke. So the house never went up in a blaze. And then we asked the question, how did the Perros get the house? They got the house for taxes. But I asked you the question, would you want to live here after somebody tried to set you on fire? That's how they got it. They got it for taxes. Okay? And then they tell the biggest lie I ever heard that, the last 10 years we've been here trying to get somebody to buy it, and we're trying to pretty much, take us, come get it. That's not true. I came down here, gave Mr. Perros my name, number, address, my blood, my DNA. I'm John Sunday's great-great-granddaughter. Let me have the house. Or if you decide to sell it, please get in contact with me. And right here on those steps, when the press and everybody had him against the wall, he said, well, yeah, I remember saying something to her, but I just lost her number. How do you think that makes me feel? And then the appraiser appraised the property for $1. And I asked you the question, where can I go to get anything in Pensacola for, any place in the world, where can I go and get anything for $1? So,
Even go to the dollar
is
store.
there, okay, not even at the dollar store maybe. You still got to pay taxes on it. But my point of what I'm saying is, do I think it's fair the way it went down? No, I don't. Do I think it's political? I do think it's a political issue. Do I think it's racial? I hate to say it, but race is a factor. I mean, if the judge wanted to do the right thing, in my opinion, he could have given it back to the ARB board and said, do your job, make a decision, up or down vote. Either save the house or don't save the house. No, but he said, I'll make the decision for you. Tear it down. So that's where I am with it. It's disturbing to me. I won't cry. It's upsetting. Like I told my son, I said, I don't want anybody calling my house asking me for no comments because I have no more words. No more words. I just have feelings. And all of this that's going on with John Sunday House, killing the blacks, killing the police, just stop. It's simple. Stop. Just stop. Asking me, do you have any fear? I have, my biggest fear is that somebody is going to tell me that my black son has been shot and he's dead. I am honest. I'm serious. Stop it. And I have to toot his home because he's a good person. He's a good man. Bothers no one. But he's subject to get pulled over. And he has gotten pulled over and ticketed for no reason at all over in Gulf Breeze. But I'm going to get off this soap opera and stop talking. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. I wish I had some water or some chicken or something I can give you. Because that's what John Sunday would do. Have a picnic. Have a picnic. Have a spread. But thank everyone for coming. And I'm speaking from the heart. And if I keep talking, I'm going to start crying. Do whatever you can. Let's save this house. Let's do what we can. I don't know if it's too late. I even asked Robin. I'm willing to go get on my knees right now and tell Mr. Libras. Huh?
You started a petition.
Yeah, we have a petition.
Where?
It's online. John, can you address his question? We just really need to just do whatever we can to save the house. And thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I think this is such an awesome event. Aren't we a beautiful community when we come together, especially at a time like this when so many of us, our hearts are breaking. It's so hard to watch week after week people losing their lives under extremely suspicious conditions. I know, or I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine for the African American community here and across our country, it's devastating, it's demoralizing. It has the same effect, unfortunately, as our terrible history in this country of a lynching era that lasted way too long. And unfortunately, there's some similarities that we really need to tend to. And so I really feel for the African American community. I respect and admire the courage of the leadership for this event and others like it. You folks from the university and what you're doing, thank you so much. So first of all, you know, as a white person and as a white woman of privilege and a pastor, a local pastor with the Unitarian Church, I'm primarily here to support my African American neighbors right here locally with the knowledge that we're experiencing really a national crisis. And the positive thing that makes this such a beautiful event, and it makes it a truly exciting time, like you said, is that more and more people are waking up of every color and realizing how important it is for us to come together in community, to make our own communities strong, to be accountable to our own communities, but also to build bridges, not walls, between us, and to listen to each other's stories, how important that is, where we can really deepen our understanding of each other and have genuine love, compassion for each other, because that's the only thing that's going to see us through this. You know, there's so much fear-mongering going on and hate speech and hate actions, and you know, it's hard not to kind of get hooked into it. So as people of conscience, as people of faith, of all faiths, we need to really come together and resist the urge to hate on this person or hate on that person or fear the person that we don't understand, and instead just show up and be present with an open heart. And I guess the last thing that I want to say is thank you for having an event like this, and please do, as our wonderful young African American leaders are moving forward with courage and with creativity, I want to encourage white people to follow the leadership of our African American youth and young people. You know, you've got great ideas, and we want to help you. And so let us know what we can do. Seriously. So thank you so much.
Home, Pastor, when you
Yes.
go back, so I'll tell you right now, in the classroom, in the boardroom,
Yep.
in your workroom, and everywhere. That's what each one of us can do. So we don't have
Absolutely.
to have a summit or another gathering. When someone says something foolish, challenge them right there.
That's right.
Because this stuff doesn't happen on TV. It's 0.001%.
That's right.
It's the 99.999 that happens in your homes that you let happen.
That's right.
That you're complicit in with your silence.
Yeah,
I'm just your amen corner. But
yeah. Well, you know, I'm
do something. It ain't a
yeah.
mystery.
Well, I'm praising the leadership because you know it takes a lot of courage to stand up and say I'm going to be visible in my community, and I personally have gained a lot of inspiration and admiration for people like Haley, you know, who have done this event and other events. It takes a lot of courage. But it's not about the big heroic thing that you can do that's all visible. It's about those things that we do every single day in all the different places that we go. So I'm with you on that.
Amen.
Yeah. But let's continue growing this community and inviting more people in. You know, whatever event we have next, you know, this is an important piece of our history, and unfortunately African American history across our nation has gotten short shrift, and in some ways, as beautiful and touching as the story that we get to hear from John Sunday's granddaughter, it has a symbolic part to it too, because so much of African American history has been erased, totally erased. And we need to reclaim that and make it not just African American history, it's American history. And all of the contributions that African Americans have made and gone unrecognized for centuries. We have a lot to catch up for in not knowing about that and really making up for lost time and lifting it up. And so this is a great example of that, and I know that there will be more examples of that happening locally and across the country. Thanks, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out here.
Thank you.
I like to open up with saying, I read a book one time. I'm not the most lyricist of people, but in it definitely said, "Oh, behold, how great it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." And so for us being here today definitely says a testament to something of such stature. And with that being said, as we talk about Black Lives Matter, as we talk about John Sunday, as we talk about great speakers and great movements from '63 to 2016, the fight doesn't stop here. A lot of people have been up here and been very eloquent with those terms, more or less. But what I ask of you is to look at your menstrual mirrors. Look at your reflection. What is it that you are doing on a daily basis? Not saying you have to go out and save the world every single day. But what is it that you're really doing? My peers, my black brothers, what is it that you're doing for our young black boys running the streets having a good time? This is how I want my kids to grow up. And I'm afraid that I may not make it to 25. So don't be confused that our role is just as big as our counterparts. If we are not being proactive, working together to find a solution, whatever it may be, even in our community here in Pensacola, I've only been here a couple years due to school, but there's been positive change. There's been resistance against that change. And no matter where you look in this country, that will happen. But the biggest thing that I want to leave with you today is that your reflection is key. Because if you lack purpose in what you're doing, you may not do it at all. And that's a very big key I want you to take on and have that conversation with your peers, with your children, with your grandparents, your parents, anybody you can get a hold of over a cup of tea, and ask their thoughts. I can't blame my counterparts for not understanding what I went through. Feel me? They weren't spit on. They weren't walking down the street and seeing somebody move to the other side due to fear. They weren't watching their convenience stores. We can't blame them for things that they may not even know what we feel. So take that into consideration instead of being angry, instead of being upset, instead of lashing out or protesting in a negative capacity such as rioting, breaking down our own communities. Think about what we can do to actually make a lasting impact, rather it be mentoring, rather it be community service, rather it be coming up to the university or going out to the elementary schools. There is something that each of us can do, has the right to do. The question is, will you do it? So again, in closing, I want you to take that into consideration. You don't have to do it right now. I prefer you do this by yourself. But look in your menstrual mirrors, reflect, ask yourself, why am I here? What am I doing? What will I do in the future to lessen such casualties to happen? Because what's happening as far as the killings is just a side effect of the real issue. Don't allow what you see in the news to confuse you. There's a bigger issue festering at the core. And until we deal with that, there may not be any peace. This isn't something that will be one in a day or a week, 5 or 10 years. So keep that in mind in your efforts to pull forward. In our generation, we don't sacrifice as much as our predecessors did. So do what you can. Of course, protect yourselves and protect your families. Play it smart and by the rules. But most of all, make sure you reflect to know why it is that you're doing it. Thank you.
What's happening? Hey. Simply means what's up? How you doing? I'm Q for those who don't know me. Some of y'all do. I've been here about 6.5 years. And when I moved down in October 2009. And I don't know how many of y'all were here in October 2009, but when I moved down, I was tired where I was. And this is not a story about me. I'm going somewhere with this. Just be patient. I was trying to leave where I was, hoping that I would come down south and lay on the beach and everything would be all right. But the week I moved down, Victor Steen was brutally murdered right here in Pensacola, Florida, by the police department. Y'all remember that?
Yes, sir.
So right away, me being a revolutionary, I couldn't hang on my bullhorn. I had to go to work. And I met people like John Ellis, Derek, and we worked together to kind of help heal this community that was hurting for losing one of our own. And it continues to happen because we don't work hard enough. We think after we bury them, it's okay to go back to doing like business as usual. And it's not. It's never okay to go back to doing business as usual. We have to keep the fight going. They marched for 360-something days to get the buses to let blacks sit on the front, right? It took over a year to get that to happen. It's going to take a long time to stop injustice. We just can't stop it when we come together today and then we go home and go back to watching Scandal on TV. We got to continue to work. Continue. It never stops. It don't have to stop for your sake. I have a different fight. I have an 11-year-old daughter who asked me the other day, why do they hate us so much? Imagine answering that to your child. Why do they hate us so much? Is one of my brothers going to get killed by the police, Daddy? These are the questions I have to answer. So I can't stop. So we have to continue. We have to lean on each other. So if you know somebody who's out there doing the work, call them up. Because revolutionaries, our job is 24 hours. I don't never stop. If you don't have my number, you can get it. And let's work together. Let's stop this because it has to stop. And we have to deal with racism because that's at the core. It's at the core. We have to deal with it. There's no two ways about it. This country was built on it, and it's going to fall on it. But it's up to what we do in the middle to decide on what we fit. And I ain't come up here to talk for a long time because y'all will be here till tomorrow listening to me. But I came up here to say what's on my heart. I don't have no scripts, but I know that I've been here for a long time and I've been seeing the same thing over and over again. There's no reason why they should tear this house down. There's no reason. We got too many children who need to know the history of it. So it ain't too late. It's still standing, right? So we can still do something to stop it. We just have to be doing something to stop it. Not talking about stopping it, but we have to be doing something to stop it. And it's just really as simple as say, as long as we're doing something, something is being done. When we're not doing something, nothing is being done. It's really that simple. We sometimes make things more complicated than they have to be. It don't have to be that complicated. As far as dealing with police brutality, I'm gonna end on this note. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Protect yourself. You have a Second Amendment right. Protect yourself. Once they step out of the rounds of legality into illegality, it's just two people in the street. You deal with it how you have to deal with it. That's what I do. I'm not telling you what to do, but I know what I have to do because I have to come home every night to a child. Every night. I can raise her from prison. I can't raise her from 6 feet under. That seems to be where they put us, 6 feet under. I ain't gonna let them put me there. My plan is to go in my sleep. I don't plan on letting them take me out. So I don't mind taking them out if I have to. I don't want to. I'm not ever speaking brutality against anybody. But what's going on across the country is not a coincidence. We see what's happening. I've been around for a long time. Don't let the smooth skin fool you. I'm about 46 years old. I've seen Rodney King get the hell beat out of him. I watched him. And then I watched them let them go. So this is not new. I saw what happened to Victor Steen, and I watched them let him go back to work. So we never healed from that. We never healed. Victor Steen's spirit is still looming over us. We still have a job to do. There's no statute of limitations on murder. So let's take this energy and let's keep moving with it. Because energy is moving. It's always moving. You can never destroy energy, right? So let's take this energy and let's keep moving. I thank each and every last one of y'all for being here. I was just getting home from work. I had to go dog sit, but I had to be here because the energy was calling me to come here. So I'm thankful for y'all being here, and I'm thankful for everything that has happened thus far, but we just have to continue to keep it moving. If not, for our sake, there's a bunch of children running around here. Let's do it for them, all right? Let's do it for them. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
By the way, I'm a native of Pensacola, born and raised. I've been here my whole life. And I was moved to come and say something because I've been here my whole life. We have these waves here where we get really hyped about something, and we want change, and we build up, and then we dwindle down. For someone who's been here my whole life and seen the waves, it's really depressing because, you know, if you've been here, you want change, You go to create the change with these people, and then people just give up. They give up the fight really quick. And a lot of these events that we have, you see new people every time, but never the same people, if that makes sense. So that's kind of our disconnect. We lose the momentum, we get upset, something happens in the news, and then we want to come out and we want to say something, but we don't show back up again. So we have to continue to show up. This particular house is just a representation of things that have been going on in the city for years. If you're from here, you might be familiar with the area Hawkshaw. Yep. It was a big neighborhood that was mostly black, and Gulf Power bought all the property, pushed everybody out, and made it nothing but grass. It's been grass for years. My grandmother's house is the only house still staying down there at this point. And there's lots of houses and lots of historical places that they've done the same thing. Churches downtown that you may think are white-owned or built, as the young lady was saying, it started with a black founder, and then they wrote them off the books. That's part of Pensacola's history, unfortunately. So part of the reason I'm up here is because there's a lot of places that we want to preserve, but we wait until they're ready to tear them down and just replace them with a marquee sign. Go downtown to the area where Gulf Power is, and you'll see a sign that says Hawkshaw. But that's all it is a sign. And if you don't stop and take time to learn about what Hawkshaw is, or someone tell you, you will never know the history. And that's the point. We tear down things and then we cover it up, we paint over it. We paint over our own history because we're silent. Or we get in these waves and we get up and then we go down. So I just challenge us all in all of our sectors of life. Like the young man was saying, you know, everybody's not charged to do the same thing. Everybody's not strong enough to do the same thing, but we can all do something. And it's not about black and white all the time, but it is about speaking up for the people whose voices are small. And that goes for everything. That doesn't start with just black lives. It starts with Muslim lives who are being put in situations to say that they're part of ISIS when they know nothing of it. It comes to lesbian rights, gay rights. It comes between all of those things. Everybody's voice that is quieted. If you are in a multitude and you have any type of privilege against what they have, you have to speak. That's what the book says. So I just challenge us all to, you know, as we go forth today and as we leave and go our separate ways, to challenge people in our day-to-day. And it's not easy. Sometimes we get comfortable in where we are and we forget that we got to challenge people continuously. But we have to, because that's just what America's made in a multicultural sense. So we need to continue to be that way, or we're going to be really dull, I tell you. You know, there's a lot of culture and greatness that comes from everybody. It wouldn't be America and be great if we didn't have all of those things from everybody. If it was one collective, it would be pretty boring, right? So I just challenge everybody to, you know, not just challenge yourself, but challenge the people in your lives, challenge the people in your jobs, to wake up and look. If not even do anything, but to look. Not to be closed-minded or to be blind to what's going on. That's the first step. And every time we make a step, we can make another step. And then if I make a step, and she's afraid to make a step, and I reach out the hand, she gets to make a step with me. That's what we got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm really proud to see everybody come out here. I don't know if I've met all of you. I try to go around and mingle and meet people by name. I'm horrible with names, great with faces. But that's the beginning. If I see you next time, I know that you're transparent enough that we can have this conversation again, and again, and again, and again. So I just challenge everybody to keep their minds open and stay prayed up, covered, not only for yourselves, but for your communities, for people who you might not even call friend, you may call foe. You know, cover yourselves and cover one another as we progress every day. Thank y'all for the time.
Hi everybody, I'm Alexandria Palmer. I'm a native of Pensacola, Florida. And actually Felicia kind of said everything that I was going to say. So I really don't have much to say at this point. I did want to say, a lot of times I see a lot of people in our community asking where are our black leaders and what are they going to do for us? But like she said, I challenge everyone, white or black, to become the leader. You don't have to have a title or be in any kind of position to lead people, because they will follow, especially if it's for a good cause. I am happy to see everyone out here today. I do have a mentorship program. It's Rubies and Pearls for Girls. If you have any daughters or anybody, I know a couple other groups that need that extra push, because if we don't teach our kids, we leave it into the hands of others to teach them. We don't protect them. We leave it into the hands for others that are supposed to protect them to hurt them. I'm not quite sure where that statistic came from that was spoke about earlier, but I would rebut, but it's not about that right now. So at this time, thank you all again for coming out. All lives do matter, but Black lives is the focus right now. Yes. All right. Thank you. So at this time, we'll go ahead and have a moment of silence, if you don't mind.
Can I just say one thing?
We're going to do 1.5 minutes. Okay.
Can I just say one
Yes,
thing?
ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay, and you have the picture of my great-great-grandfather. Okay, some of you may have seen it, may not have seen it. There's pictures of him in the legislature. There's pictures of him as a younger man, but, you know, none of this is out here today. But I'm back asking if any of you have any great ideas about how let me just say this, we're in the 25th hour for trying to save this house. Does that mean anything? If you have any ideas of what we can do, if you have land or anybody that can possibly help us. Even if I go and beg Mr. Libras to let me have the house, we've got to have a place to move it. We've got to have money to move it. So if you have any ideas or any suggestions, you can contact John Ellis, John Sunday Society, and make your comments there, or one of the members in the group. Okay? Thank you.
And we're just going to do a 1-minute moment of silence. So, we're going to start right now. Okay, thank you. We're going to have a poem, and then we'll be closing up in just a moment, if y'all bear with us.
Hi, I have a poem. I wrote it at 3 different junctures of time, but it all goes together. The first part is called I Saw Your Facebook Post. Sitting in the comfort, the safety, your privilege so secure, you don't even know it exists. I hear you when you say Martin Luther King didn't use violence, he didn't riot, and implicit in your words is judgment of a lower class, criminals, destruction. Where I see outrage, you just see rage. Where you call ignorance, I see the systematic neglect of education, legislation, the failing of emancipation, enduring enslavement, imprisonment. When you say, don't break the law and you won't fear the police, you whose fear is of a fine. When there are those against who a minor infraction is not just an inconvenient distraction, but a death sentence. So I hear you when you say Martin Luther King didn't use violence, but I say, still they killed him. Part 2, All Lives Matter is a quiet fuck you. All lives matter is a quiet fuck you, disguised in magnanimous humanity, robed in equality, with a hood of self-righteousness pulled down low over the eyes, for people for whom hoods are safe, blinders for the blind, for people who cannot see beyond the tip of their own nose, or maybe not even that far. All Lives Matter is a quiet fuck you, hiding between inclusiveness and bigotry, putting out a welcome mat that says love,
when you're really sneaking out the back door. Layering fear with ignorance or pride with oppression, you're slipping out into the darkness. Maybe you don't even know you are there. Sleepwalking. Thinking you are turning peacefully in bed, dreams of rosy-cheeked youth, of safe sunny days. You don't know when you will startle awake in a park with cold metal against the palm of your hand, unfamiliar child on the ground. Who are these people? These are not your people. You're sleeping. These images are not real life, are not your life. Behind your eyelids come flashing visions of swinging ropes, of blood, of guns. These are not your nightmares, are not your shaking, trembling night terrors, are not your screams stuck frozen in your throat. Maybe you wake, stumbling blind, into the pulsing glow of sirens and lights. Hands up. You are disoriented, but there is someone to direct you, someone to dismiss those dismal dreams. Your sweet relief. In the safety of sighting a uniform, the security of being able to explain yourself without being shot. You come trudging home, trailing fresh dirt and blood over the L, O, V, E on your map. But somebody's awake, furious and loud, bitter and afraid, ignorant and insulted, anger fueled by struggle. People have died, people are dying, people will die. People have suffered, people are suffering, people will suffer. Letters, words, what do they mean? There's always a counterpoint. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag All Lives Matter. Hashtag Homes for the Homeless. Hashtag Homes for All People. Hashtag Feed the Hungry. Hashtag Food for All People. I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Hashtag Air for All People. You are a child looking at a book, making up a narrative out of pictures and squiggly lines. Learn to read. Are you so threatened to lose your privilege, to loosen your chokehold after all these years? All Lives Matter is a quiet fuck you. A long, low moan from a society that claimed to birth liberty, but she's been stuck and bleeding for over 200 years. Let the sound of these other rising voices be the push she needs. Part 3, false narrative. Your truth is a lie. My perception of reality is the only one. Because I have not seen it, it doesn't exist. Because I do not recognize it when I see it, it does not exist. False. Lies. Lie. You lying liar. Narrative, story, account, chronicle, history. History. The history we don't want to admit. The history we want to forget. The history we say is over. The history we pretend doesn't exist. The history we rewrite. The history we don't learn. The history we deny. The history that defines, that divides, that defies time. Until we face it. Until we face that it is still happening. Until we face that it was wrong, that it is wrong, until we come face to face with the people whose story it is, whose life it is, whose life it was, their story, their true story, of generation after generation beaten and hanged, of lynchings, of slavery, of building a nation upon the backs of a people considered property, 3/5 human, and until we acknowledge that centuries of horror and torture and generations of social conditioning do not just disappear. How can the man who fights for a flag as heritage too critical to abandon in the same breath say that slavery is far enough away to be forgotten? Maybe your narrative is false. You know, the one in which your history is important enough to flap boldly in the wind above government buildings, streaming behind trucks, too sacred to be folded and put into the trunk in the attic. But others' history is past, is past. Why don't you pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Better yet, pull yourself up by bullwhips. by chains, by the 2x4s that build the bottoms of boats, by ropes that are just shorter than the lowest limbs of trees. Wade through the rivers of blood and the generations of abuse and murder and torment and death. Step over the bodies of your grandmothers, the babies cut away from living wombs, the guts and the limbs and the graves, and just get over it. Get over the economic abuses, forget Black Wall Street and white rioters and decades of police brutality and the prison industrial complex and the murders of children like Victor Steen and Tamir Rice and the 9 black people massacred in a church last year and the last breath of Eric Gardner and the murder of hundreds upon thousands of nameless, forgotten by history, never noticed when they were living people. By Alton Sterling, by Philando Castile, the story of these people matters. That narrative, their narrative. Fuck your false narrative. Amen.
Can everybody hear me? Sometimes I talk low, even though I'm a little. Y'all hear me?
You're good.
I just want to say again, thank you, y'all, for coming out tonight. It's so beautiful to see the unity that Pensacola has the ability to pull together. I'm not going to be before y'all long. I just wanted to say a few things. I've been organizing since late 2014 when Ferguson went into effect. And I had my youngest child. And that took a toll on me, mentally. I had to get to work. That's the way I work through grief. And you can ask anybody that knows me, the way I work through any type of grief in my life is I work through it. And I don't try not to pay it any attention. But this time around, I decided that I was going to use that grief that I felt for all the black people and for knowing that I was bringing black male children into the world. I was going to use that, and I was going to gear it. I'm sorry, these mosquitoes killing me out here. But I decided, I was looking online and all through my timeline, and I have a lot of friends on Facebook. A lot of y'all probably are my friends on Facebook. All I saw was grief. All I saw was people who didn't understand why America couldn't love them because of the color of their skin. All I saw was people that were trying to understand why their life, why people wanted to shut them up because they wanted to talk about their life mattering. And it goes so far beyond just police brutality. It's economic disparities. It's the reason these kids join gangs out here. Amen. Because it's last night, I gotta be on my soapbox for a minute about our children. Last night, it's a group of black teenagers. Yes, some of them might have been fighting, but some of them just don't have nothing to do in Pensacola. It's them getting rid of things that our kids could be doing in Pensacola that we need, and we need to demand it from our public officials. We need to demand it from our city, that they implement if they want to see it go down. They can't just say that our kids are unruly and that that's our culture, because that's not what it is. Some of us are working 2 and 3 jobs. I know my husband has 2. But we as a community have to come together for those kids. We have to be the village to help with those kids because our government, honestly, y'all, right now is failing us. I want to talk about self-care for a minute in the midst of the revolution because I feel like anytime we say that we're going to unapologetically love ourselves and love each other, that it's a revolution. I'm going to say that if you have to step back, especially my black folks, seeing those videos, seeing those stories, having microaggressions every day where people automatically assume that you're this way, and if you are that way, that your life ain't worth shit. Seeing that can take a toll on you, because I know it takes a toll on me. I just want to say that you might need to step back. Yes, baby. And I want to say, y'all see my kids running around here? I let them do that on purpose. I'm trying to raise carefree black boys. I don't want my kids to think that they can't act a certain way because the world is going to kill them off automatically. Because it doesn't matter how respectable my kids are. At the end of the day, as soon as they see them, they're going to write them off. That's just our reality. So I just wanted to put that out there. We want to raise carefree black children in this world. We want it to be equal, where their lives matter so much, where all lives can matter. For my black folks that are out here, if you're on Facebook, if you go to Facebook and you type in the search bar, Black Pensacola Safe Haven, there's a support group for you where you can be amongst other black people. We check in with each other. We're there for each other. Because sometimes it can be hard, I'm not going to lie. Our non-black allies, look at all of them out here. They are amazing. They come through for us. But they don't feel the same thing that we feel every day. And sometimes it just takes to be validated by those that are like you and those that have seen the things that you done seen in order to be able to mentally be there. I'm not capable of pushing forth the revolution or organizing things like this without having my support system, and I see so many of y'all out here right now. And I want to thank y'all so much. I want y'all to know that you are not alone in this. Loving people is the way that it's going to have to go. That's the only way it's going to work. And if it takes more than that, because it's going to take more than just that, just know that you're not alone in it. I love y'all, Pensacola. Black people, come through on the Safe Haven. We're trying to get our support circle together. All of our non-black people, y'all are welcome to be part of our support. And we love y'all so much, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you.